We continue our election night coverage now. A lot of focus on the presidential race. Tonight, our Chris English is at USC's Media Insights Lab trying to put his finger on the pulse of the conversation around the presidential election. Chris?
That's right. We're at the Social Media Insights Lab. It's part of the University of South Carolina. We've caught back up with Denson Millar as he continues to track the data for this election cycle. Denson, I wanted to ask you about something we saw on the big screen earlier. This term up here, net sentiment, and I see it's currently at 39%. So can you explain to our viewers at home, what is net sentiment and what does that number 39% represent?
Yeah, so of course, net sentiment is simply our ratio of our positive mentions to our negative mentions. So by mentions, we mean any post that is coming through that matches our keyword searches. As part of net sentiment, Quid uses AI to track mentions and their sentiment score, be it positive, negative, or neutral. And from that, we're able to determine a net sentiment score, aggregating all of those different mentions, and that sets us at a score of 39%.
Gotcha. So one thing I did kind of want to point out to folks at home, the score actually ranges from negative 100% for the most negative comments, all negative all the time, to 100%, which would be all positive comments all the time. And of course, we know that's not how an election works. But I'm actually surprised that we're so positive. 39% is actually more positive than I would expect comments to be online, just based on how divided things seem right now.
Yeah, so right now, with it being so high on the net sentiment score, there's just generally a positive outlook for these candidates. You're getting that final push. A lot of these people are posting, campaigning, just getting those final words out. As people are hitting the polls, they're posting about who they voted for positively. So we're seeing both sides reflect that.
Awesome. Well, again, we appreciate you inviting us into the lab to take a look at all these things as we continue to monitor the results and monitor the data for this year's presidential election. We're at the Social Media Insights Lab at the University of South Carolina. I'm Chris English, News 19 WLTX.
All right, Chris, so interesting to see how social media and our phones shape everything
Indeed.
in the conversation.